Thank you. Hello, everybody. Bonjour. How's it going? Hello. 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 So, just wanted to put this on the screen for everyone to contemplate. Let me just, how do you do this thing? Toolbar, timeline, no. Here you go. Done. We'll put the timeline on the sidebar. So, I'm Nat Friedman. I work at Novell. I'm in charge of our Linux desktop work at Novell. And I don't have a professional prepared presentation for you today, as you can maybe tell from my introductory slide, which is just a picture of my business partner, Miguel de Casa. This is what things usually look like around the office at Novell. A little this, or we have some other kind of really good shots. It's a very relaxed environment in our office. We like to encourage creativity and that kind of thing. In any case, I'm going to talk to you a little bit and show you mainly parts of our next Linux desktop product, Novell Linux Desktop 10. And I decided what I would try to do is to show you a picture of, for each piece of software, show a picture of the author. So I got some pictures of some people, so I can show them to you. You know, Microsoft doesn't do that because if you show a picture of the author, then everyone will try to find that person and beat the shit out of them. So we're not afraid, though. So I'll show you these first. This is Miguel at the office, and maybe this one's better. And then we have this one. And then, hold on, I'm not supposed to show you those yet. And then this is Miguel again. So Miguel and I started a company called Zimian in 2000. And our goal was really just focused on the Linux desktop to build a great Linux desktop. And then in 2003, Novell purchased our company. And we have been continuing to focus on the Linux desktop, but with a lot of Novell's energy behind it. If you were in my talk earlier today at 12 or 1 o'clock, I'm going to repeat everything exactly the way it was before, so just so you know. So this is actually, I'm showing you these pictures in our desktop in a program called F-Spot, which is our new photo management tool. And these are sort of the hacker pictures. But I have probably 1,000 pictures loaded in F-Spot right now. Hold on. I have to see if he remembered to take this computer. One moment. Just pay no attention. Just have to type powersave-F. It's very reasonable. Okay. So to set the CPU speed to maximum. So this is a nice program because it allows you to manage a lot of pictures from your camera and very easily import them into the software. So I'm going to demonstrate that with this. I need a volunteer from the audience. Does anyone want to volunteer? Okay, here we go. I need one more volunteer from the audience. And you have to hurry because this camera only has 1 minute of battery. Anyone else? Oh. All right, here we go. Yes, everyone, big hand. Now, you guys are going to make some faces. So first, make an extremely happy face. Okay, good. I'm going to turn on the flash. Hold on. Okay, now make an extremely angry face. It looks very similar to the happy face. now make a very sad face. Okay. Now we just took these pictures. And I'm going to plug this into the computer. And you guys can do a little dance for me. Beautiful. And you see, I didn't actually do anything on the computer, but this window appeared that said a photo card has been detected. There are photos on the card. Would you like to add these pictures to your album? So this is our new plug-and-play system. Pretty nice. You don't have to actually do anything and type mount space dash devs dash SDA4 space slash media slash camera and then rsync dash AD space slash media backtick find space slash media dash name star dot JPEG, but you have to escape the star. You don't have to do any of that. All you do is you hit the import photos button like that. So pretty much everyone can handle this. Well, maybe not everyone. but I didn't vote for him anyway. So, so you hit import photos, and where did they go? Here they are. These pictures appeared in that spot. So that looks. This thing just attacked me. That looks like sad. And then we have angry. And that's happy, and it's blurry because I didn't use a flash. So the good news is F-Spot makes it very easy to import your pictures into your digital universe, which is another word for your computer. And you can also then select these photos, and I'm going to tag them. I'm going to call them Parisians. And then if I ever need to find these pictures later and I can't remember when I took them, I can just select the Parisians tag here, and there they are. Very simple, right? So that's tagging. I have another tag here, this favorites tag, and these are some of my favorite pictures. So you can see, for example, these are just pretty pictures that I've taken in different places. Flowers, I like flowers, they're very sensitive. And then these are pictures in the snow in Boston, that kind of thing. So it makes it easy to market pictures, and you saw it was very easy for me to tag that photo with PZN. So I can also tag things with other tags. If I want to say this photo here of me looking really good is a favorite, I can just drag this guy on there. It's not working for some reason. What's going on? I don't know what's going on right now, guys. This is embarrassing. Let me try again. Drag that. Huh, it's working, but it's not. Well, there's a small bug. But, you know, you're very impressed anyway, right? So here I have some flowers tagged. I have these Parisians tagged, and then I go to my favorites, and you can see, in fact, these pictures of me did show up, but for some reason the little picture wasn't appearing on them. So this is nice because it makes it easy. And if you have a lot of pictures, I have 45,000 approximately at home, because I have a policy of never deleting my pictures, which is a good policy if you need a historical record for your life for future biographers. But it's a bad policy if you want to keep certain things private, because people find them. But, okay, so the next thing we can do, though, is we can select these photos here, and we can put them online. So Flickr is my photo sharing website that I use. So I just select export these to Flickr, and it's automatically resizing the pictures, and it's sending them up onto the internet, and these happy, sad, and angry photos are now online. And yeah, no, it's okay. And they're actually, Flickr is nice because it provides you with an RSS feed of all the photos that you upload. So a lot of people, about 2,000 people subscribe to my Flickr feed. So probably 500 people are looking at those pictures of you guys right now. And here they are on the internet. There's a commenting feature, so people might add some comments. Okay, so this is F-Spot, and I wanted to show you F-Spot first because I'm going to be using it to show you pictures of other people later on. So this is our basic desktop environment. It looks basically the way you would expect. We have icons. We have a little bar at the bottom. A lot of the things I'm going to show you have never been demoed before publicly, as was said several times earlier. But I'm going to try to give you kind of a sneak peek into what we've been developing internally at Novell. We released a Linux desktop product about 12 or 13 months ago, NLV9. It was a good product, and it had a lot of interest and a lot of uptake, more than we expected. But there wasn't an enormous amount of market research-driven development that went into it. This product, NLV10, represents last year's work under Novell's auspices and under the support of Novell. So I think it's probably a lot more impressive. So you can judge for yourself. One of the things we did at Novell was a lot of usability testing, which we never had the opportunity to do before. We took Linux and we brought it to regular people who have never seen Linux before or heard of it and who've only used Windows, and we asked them to try to use it. And then we, hello? Hello? 1 second, we have a little problem here for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Holy crap, what the hell does that mean? This is terrible. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm going to log out. So I'm sorry, everyone. I might run slightly over now. Okay, so demo. That's my normal account, obviously. You hear that very pleasing sound? That means the Windows sound was designed to make it so that when you log in after a Windows crash, you feel okay. Okay, here we go. So we asked people to try to use a Linux desktop. This is some poor guy who's never seen Linux before. He's used to Windows in his simple life. And we're exposing him to an entire new universe of possibilities for what he might do with his life. And one of those is to use Linux. So we asked him to try to import photos from a camera. There's the camera. You see it right there? And we record 2 cameras simultaneously on him, and we capture what happens on the screen. And you can see that he's able to, it's kind of dark and small, but you can see he's able to click the import photos button. So that means our software was a success. We have other of these too. This is important to videotape these kinds of things because frequently programmers don't have encounters with non-programmers, right? So a society of programmers is a closed society usually, and for several reasons. But one is that most programmers do not bathe themselves very often, and so there's a strong odor that comes off. And we had one developer at our office who not only didn't he bathe, but he never bought clothing. So he had clothes, but they were the same ones he had for a very long time, but he kept getting fatter. So he used duct tape to hold his clothes together. And it was a major problem because we worked in a very fancy building. And the people at the other offices reported him to the police as a terrorist. So it's difficult for these people to ask their friends what they think of their software. So we find normal people and we ask them to use the software, and as they're using it, to react to it. Tell us what they're thinking. Right? Tell us what they think of the software. So you see this girl, you can tell from her facial expressions that she's not happy with this dialogue here, which happens to be from KDB in this particular example. But when you take these videos and you bring them to the engineers and you say, look, and then this girl goes, ugh, it's the first time they've seen a girl in over a year, usually. So they say, I have to fix that. So it's been very helpful. And not only did we do this research, and we did it 2 ways. We have a permanent lab in Boston where we bring people in, and we also have a mobile usability lab which we've taken to 10 countries and 30 cities and asked people to try to use. All this data is now online, so if you want to watch these videos, go to the website betterdesktop.org. You can download them, and the reason we did that is so that programmers outside of Novell and the open source community can get access to this information, and we can help show people what needs to be done to improve the usability of the Linux desktop. So based on that information, we've done several new things in the desktop. You can see when I click down here on this computer button, this main menu appears. And this main menu is a new Novell Linux desktop thing. And it has, down here, it has 6 applications, which are kind of your favorite applications. We put in by default some apps that we think you probably want to use. So Firefox, the web browser, the mail program, and other things like that. If you want to see more applications, click on the More Applications button, and this window appears. And all the applications that you might want to run that are on your computer are listed in this window, and they're in sections. So this is the graphics section, and this is the internet section. So it's easy to find things. There's a search feature, right? Like all good software today. So if you type video, you see the video editor appears, and video conferencing also appears. Or if you type Office, all the Office software shows up. So we think this is a nice way to do things because it's an easier metaphor to use than this thing, right? Where you have to traverse a multi-layered menu, which Windows uses. We think this is easier, and plus we can add additional functionality. Like if you right-click on one of these things, you can say uninstall, or upgrade, or remove from favorites, so that sort of thing. So anywhere you can click on these, you have these powers. And then we also allow you to select, instead of your favorite applications, your recently used applications, so things that you've recently launched. We use Real Player 10 to play those videos, so it's here. Or your recent documents that you've recently accessed. So it's nice, you can get to common actions here. You also have the status of your network, so it says wired here because we're connected to an Ethernet, and your hard drive status, and some other things like if you want to run your control center and then change your screensaver settings, you can say my screensaver should be floating feet. This is the power of Linux. I know what you're thinking. You have to buy it right now. Okay, so this is the main menu, and we've also tried to make Some other basic things sort of accessible off the desktop. So we have this little clock in the corner, and when you click on it, you get a calendar. And that's nice because you can figure out that the 23rd of February is a Thursday very quickly. But you can also see a quick overview of all of your meetings for the day here. So you can see, for example, we have this presentation at 6:30. That's what I'm doing right now. And then there were some other meetings we had earlier today. And they're listed there. And that's, you can also, your other option is you can launch Evolution, which is the mail calendar program. And it pops up, and then you say, okay, let's go to the calendar section. And then your meetings are there too. And if I take this presentation from 6:30 and I drag it to 9 o'clock, you see it updates here, and it says 9 o'clock. Only these two people can see that, but everyone else can take our word for it. So this is nice. Oh, and we also have, but it's nice to have quick access to it. In the calendar, you can also click Boston weather here, and you can see that the weather forecast appears for the next 5 days. I live in Boston. So it's 0 degrees Celsius in Boston right now. And Friday it will be 8 degrees Celsius, and it will be raining. That's when I return home. So this is the calendar, and it's nice to be able to have kind of quick access to your apps. But we also have this search tool that we built. Oh, I forgot to show you the picture of the author of this. Hold on, let me do that. I closed F-Spot. So we go to the Hackers tag, and this is the author. Can you see him? Let me just see him. It's not this one right here. That is a small rat or something. I think it's actually what's the word for it? It's something else. Possum. Possum. Yeah. I don't know what the French word is, but and then this is Jimmy. This is the guy who actually wrote the main menu, and he actually went directly up to the rat and started petting it, which was strange, but he writes very good code. So he wrote the menu, so that's what I wanted to show you. And the guy who wrote F-Spot, by the way, is in here somewhere. Where is he? Oh, I forgot to put him in here. Crap. Well, I have this picture, which is not of him, but it's kind of interesting. Oh, you can't see anything right here. Wow. Well, there's this guy here. I can make this brighter. 1 second. There you go. You can see a little better. Something mysterious happening here. It's not clear what's about to happen. Okay, so we also have a search tool we built for the desktop. So I can come here and I can type in the search box Linux, right? And my search tool appears and it shows me all the documents or mails or calendar appointments or anything I have on my computer that contain the word Linux. I can type Novell, and you see I get a couple of images here at the beginning. I can click on these images and it'll open them. This is a Novell image. Or I have these documents that appear. I can open them too. This is a Microsoft Word document. I don't know why I decided to open it, but this is OpenOffice opening it. We can obviously load Microsoft Word documents. Very exciting. These are mails. So if I double click, I can open these mails that match. So Beagle's a nice search tool because it allows you to search all your stuff. And it's real time. So if I receive a new mail right now that contains the word Novell, it will automatically show up in this window immediately. It's very cool. We built a new kernel interface called iNotify that makes that possible. So that's Beagle. We also have an API for programmers who want to access Beagle, and we have a command line interface. It's pretty neat. So let me show you the guy who wrote Beagle. Are you ready? Where is he? There he is. Can you see him? Everything is very dark up here. Can we turn these lights off? I'll just make this a little brighter. That's Joe. That's a banana. And that's Joe. Okay, you don't seem impressed by Joe. That's okay. So that's Beagle, and it's a nice piece of software because it's integrated with the desktop. So for example, you can use this search interface, or if you're just using the regular file manager and you're looking around, and you're saying, where are my documents? And you can't remember where it is, you can type in the search bar here, China, and I only have one document that matches China or Linux. And all of your documents that match the term Linux or Evolution will appear right here. So we're trying to put search everywhere in the desktop to make it easy to find things, which is nice. Okay, next I'm going to show you, this is not my iPod. Guy? Where's Guy? You gave me somebody else's iPod, man. All right, well, we're going to try it anyway. Mine's black. So one of the problems that people have, actually, let me show you before I plug that in. One of the problems that people have in Linux is with multimedia, and it's a problem that exists because the codecs and the patents That happens every time, I keep forgetting. The patents that apply to MP3 encoding and MP3 decoding and AAC and MPEG-4 and WMA and WMV aren't compatible with open source licenses, and you often have to pay money to get licenses to these things. So, and this is especially a problem in the US, less of a problem in other countries. But we wanted to provide people with a legal way to do everything associated with music in their desktop. So we wanted to provide one tool that did everything. So we created this thing called Banshee. We licensed it under the X11 license. So who knows what the X11 license is? Okay, that guy in the back can explain it to you if you have a question. But the point of the X11 license is that it's compatible with the patent. So basically, here's a legal player that allows you to play music in Linux. And it works with my iPod. Whoever's iPod this is, I hope. So, so it's a one-stop shop, too. So not only can you plug in an iPod, so here the iPod appears. For some reason, this iPod has no name. But if you look carefully, you can see this little thing here. I'm going to zoom in for you. Whoa. You see that? Okay, I'll tell you about the zooming later. But that's the little iPod icon that appeared. And that icon is actually a little white nano, just like this. And if you plug in a black one, it shows up black. And if it's pink, it shows up pink. And if you don't believe me, ask the people who were at the 1230, because mine was black. But then I can come in here and I can actually play music. Oh, this is a Utah band. So this is somebody who's in Utah. You can play music off of the iPod. I got it. Look at you. So Eminem. I don't know who this is, but they have Eminem also. And if you want to make a playlist, you can do that. You can just select a few songs. Let's see, and then you drag them over. Oh, you can't make a playlist from the iPod. Of course, that makes no sense, because you might remove it later. But you can make a playlist from your library. Then you can rename it and say, this playlist is called blah. And there's the blah playlist. And then you could burn it to a CD if you have a blank CD. Now you can unplug the iPod and it disappears. So plug and play, music, legal, free, right? Good stuff. What else do I need to show you? What am I missing?
I wasn't there. I was
Oh, right. We're getting this other person's iPhone. It's not D's. I'm pretty sure. Okay, one more kind of business-oriented thing I want to show you is that in OpenOffice, compatibility has been a large problem for people. They try to open Microsoft Office documents, and they don't load for some reason. And we deployed 4,000 Linux desktops inside Novell and replaced 4,000 Windows installations. And over the last year, we deployed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Linux desktops outside of Novell. And through those deployments, we learned that one of the largest and most difficult problems with Microsoft Office deployment were Visual Basic macros. So we decided to fix it, which was not an easy fix. We took 6 people and we had them write a translator for Microsoft Visual Basic macros to OpenOffice macros that are called Star Basic macros. So I can demonstrate this for you. I'm just going to open this Excel spreadsheet, and it has this little worm here. And if I click on this thing, the worm starts to move. This is just a demo of what happens if you write a program in an Excel spreadsheet. You write it in Excel, save it as an Excel file, and then you load it in OpenOffice. So if I click on this button, the worm sort of moves around. There are more useful examples. This is a spreadsheet. It's an ROI calculator, so you fill in some fields. You say enable macros first. And you fill in some fields, and it tells you what your ROI is. And all this is done using macros. So it turned out that it was relatively easy for us to support the subset of the Visual Basic macro API that was needed for 90% of the spreadsheets that exist. So now we have really good Visual Basic support for the vast majority of the spreadsheets that are out there. Okay. So that is, oh, and then there's this other one. I'll show you this other demo. It's kind of neat. Pretty pictures and those. Oh, and I can show you, in the meantime, I can show you the, I should try to show you some pictures. So something is wrong with my computer now. Oh God. What's happening? Oh, okay. This thing is just loading. So here you go. So this thing draws these hypocycloids. So this is just an advanced use of Visual Basic macros to do drawing and other things like that. It kind of is a show-off way of showing our compatibility with Microsoft Excel. Okay, don't save that. So what do we got here? Who do I need to show you? This is Aaron Bockover. Can you see him? Can you guess what he works on? He wrote Banshee. He's in North Carolina. He's a good guy. And, oh, I didn't show you Network Manager, but Network Manager is this little guy down in the corner that we helped write. And Network Manager is a way of easily switching networks. So when you click on this little guy in the corner, you see Eurospot shows up. It's down at the bottom, so people in the back can stand up if they want. But if you click on these, you can switch to a wireless network, like Eurospot, and it just sort of works. And the nice thing about Network Manager is it can learn policy. So when I'm at home, I like to sit on my couch or out on my porch and use my computer. So I use wireless. But at the office, I always sit at the desk, and I plug in the network cable. So the great thing about Network Manager is when I come to the office, I just plug in the cable, it detects the cable is plugged, and it automatically brings up my network. At home, I go home, I live in the center of Boston, and there are 7 wireless networks that I can view from my house, and which is very distressing for my health, I think. But my computer knows which one I like, and because I've always selected it, and so it automatically connects me to my trusted network when I get home. And all I have to do is open my computer for that to happen. So Network Manager does that, and you can override it and say, please connect to Eurospot or turn on a VPN connection. You can ask it for information about your connection and that kind of thing. So the guy who wrote that is Robert Love, who's also the guy who wrote iNotify, which I mentioned to you earlier. And here's a picture of Robert. You see him? And that's with breakfast. And this is Robert in San Francisco. That's the back of his head. And these women are holding up this mask, but I'm not really sure why. And then there's Robert again. So he wrote Network Manager. He's a good guy. Okay, I'm going to end with something else that I want to show you. You might have noticed, and Michael Meeks. I was going to show you Michael Meeks. Here he is. This is the guy who does all of our open office work. He lives in England. He's got a beard, which, it's okay. We can zoom in, I think. There you go. So I don't know, it's an okay beard. I've seen better beards, I have to be honest. But this one's alright. So Michael works in open office for us. So you might have noticed, while I was doing this demo, that when I open a window like F-Spot, it's doing a little animation. Do you notice that? It kind of goes like that. Whereas usually if you use a computer, the window just appears. Maybe it fades in a little bit. You might have noticed if you were particularly observant that this main menu is fading in and out. You see that? It's not just going, it's fading. So it's instead of, got it? We have a new graphics system in the desktop that we're using to do some special effects to make things feel a little bit more physical and realistic and just kind of cooler. So it's very powerful. Basically, we're using the 3D hardware of the computer to draw things on the desktop. So I can take this calendar, for example. Oops. Whoa, what did I do? I did something screwy. Okay, here we go. I can take this calendar, and I can say, make it partly see-through. Well, that's really see-through. I can say partly see-through. So you can still see the calendar. You can see that underneath it is the photo application. You see that? Now, I don't know if you really want to do this all the time, but it's neat that we can do it. It shows you the power. We built a subsystem, it's called XGL, and oh shit, I don't have a picture of the author. Okay, this picture of the author thing, this is the first time I've tried this. David Friedman is his name. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. So let me just do a Google search. No pictures of David. So you can make these opaque, and you might also notice these windows are shaking a little bit. You see that? So if I make this smaller, yeah? That's kind of, we call that wobbly windows. They're kind of like Jell-O. This guy thinks it's pretty funny, which is good. I agree. So these are kind of some neat effects. If you look really carefully, you'll also notice that all these windows have shadows underneath them. And the mouse does too. So we can put shadows under windows with this. And we can move things very smoothly, make the desktop feel physical. I don't think we're going to turn this on by default, the wobbling, but it's cool anyway. A more practical note, if you have a lot of windows open and you're kind of like, oh man, I don't know where that thing was that I was looking for, then you can switch windows using our window switcher. This is the new window switcher. It shows you a little preview of stuff on the desktop. These are example plugins that people have written using the XPL infrastructure they wrote. So that's kind of cute. And we can have transparency all throughout the system. So you notice this window is slightly transparent, but also these windows here are a little bit transparent in the title bar. Oh, this is how we do the zooming, by the way. This is with XPL. Well, if you zoom in too far, it goes black. And there's also, just as a demo, we hit F12. The windows organize themselves like this. So these are demos of the power you have once you have a 3D graphic system. So we're not really sure exactly what effects are the best and most useful and what we're going to actually put in the product, but it's nice that we have the ability to do this kind of thing. Previously, this power was really only available to one operating system, which was Mac OS X. That was the only one that had a close enough connection between the hardware and the software to be able to do all these kinds of effects. So it's kind of fun because now we have this ability, and I can even take a video. So this is the Harry Potter trailer, and I can move it, and while the video is playing, it's wobbling. And I can make it right? So we can do fancy eye candy that we couldn't do before. Let me turn it down a little bit. And then, you know, the video keeps playing, you know, when I'm like this, even though it's a shrunk version, or in this mode, the video plays. And then if I want, I can take this window and I can kind of put it off to the side, you know, because I don't want to make more space. But then if I want to go back to using it, I can put it on the side. You can ask these windows to kind of follow you around the cube. It's a cube. I don't know if you noticed. You can change the number of sides if you want. There's a setting that lets you change to 6 sides, all the way up to 512, which is kind of big. So, and it's, you know, it's all 3D accelerated, so if you want, you can go really fast. And yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. So this is NLD 10. Thank you guys for your time. If you want to check out some of this stuff before our Novell Linux desktop product comes out, a lot of what I just showed you is in OpenSUSE. Go to opensuse.org and download it. That's our bleeding edge, latest, greatest version of our desktop. And then later this year, in the middle of the year, I think is the party line, we're going to have our product available for download and evaluation and purchase. So thank you very much for your time.